Hello everybody, I'm Bri and welcome to today's video. It's still November. I have found out through my Bri'sLittleReads videos that I was doing that a TBR, even though you may not get through all those books, is like really helpful. So I was kind of last minute putting together a TBR for November. Not putting out a TBR for November video because I still don't know what really my TBR is. I kind of made it because I've been on a little bit of a struggle bus reading Legendborn, and I just need other books to keep me reading. So I read like a love song that I picked up from Goodwill, and it was a short read, so that's why I picked it up. And now, so I'm indecisive about these two books. One of them I had already set onto this TBR that I had made, and then I remember someone saying, well, small town romances are like a cozy fall kind of vibes, and I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. So that's what I have right now. And since I'm indecisive about these two books, I wanted to do a reading challenge, which is the read one chapter challenge. Is that what it's called? It's like read a chapter of a book. Oh, it's called first chapter challenge is what it is. So you read the first chapter of a book, and whichever one interests you more, you pick up. And I will show you the book, or the books that I have. And I guess, I don't know if a lot of people would know about this book. I'm always gonna say I found this through a booktuber, and I can never remember what their handle is. I'm not 100% sure about like who exactly I heard this from, but it is A Curious Beginning by Dana Rayborn, and her name's Riley, isn't it? The booktuber I'm thinking of. I think the booktuber who I heard it from was Riley Marie, I think is how you pronounce it. I think, okay, I think it was her. I've heard that like a Victorian murder mystery book, but with a slight tinge of romance between the two main characters. But there's like 4 books in the series, and I'm starting off with the first one, and I only have the first one. So that's why I'm kind of like, should I start this? So I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, doing the first chapter, I've kind of already like tabbed both the books, or bookmarked the books of when the first chapter ends. So they're both pretty short. And the next one that I have that I think I've heard everybody rave about is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I did not know I had an Abby Jimenez book on my shelves. I'm trying to remember which book it is, and now I can't remember. Oh yes, I was correct. I do have one of her other books on my shelf, but I have not read it. It is the Happy Ever After playlist, and like I said, I haven't read it, but I do have her other book on my shelf. And so I have this one. I picked this up on at a thrift store because I was thinking of getting it off of Book of the Month, but I saw it at the bookstore for like a thrift store for like $5, and I picked it up. So yeah, I have this. This is the small town romance that I was talking about. I think there's also like an age gap in it. Can't say I've read a age gap book. And I think no, I probably did. And I think the one that I did was like a YA, and it was between her and her teacher, and I was like, ew, disgusting. So I don't know if I don't know. I would think they're 2 grown adults and I would be okay with it, but we shall see. So yeah, I'm going to do, what was the challenge name again? I cannot think, oh my goodness. The 1 chapter challenge on both these books. See which one I'm more interested in. Like I said, I just finished reading Like a Love Song. I don't remember the name of the author, but it was a YA romance. So I don't know which genre I'm feeling, especially this is like mainly romance, and this is like subplot romance. So we shall see. I'm sorry if you keep hearing this little tab. It's the bookmark for it. Anyways, I will let you guys know, or I will come back and let you guys know. if you've seen in the clips I just filmed, I finished both Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez and A Curious Beginning by Deanne Raybourn, maybe is her name. So I cannot tell you which one I want to read first. I kind of like did a double whammy on myself. I don't know which one. I'm sort of leaning into Part of Your World, just because I heard like the first sentence of the second chapter, because I was listening to both of these on audiobook, and I was kind of intrigued for this one. But pretty much for this one we get introduced, oh my goodness. So we get introduced to Veronica Speedwell, whose aunt just passed away. She had two aunts who were taking care of her, who were her guardians, and this last aunt is the one who ended up passing away, and she was attending her funeral. Her and her aunt don't seem to have, or her and this aunt don't seem to have like the best of relationships, but Victoria is very blunt about things. She doesn't really hold back that, you know, she's not really related to these people, which is kind of shocking being in the Victorian era to have to be orphaned and taken care of by these people who are not related to you. So she's pretty much having conversation with, I'm assuming, the pastor. They called it a different name that started with a V, Visker or something. I don't remember what they called it, but yeah, it seemed like it was the pastor, and his wife invited her for dinner, and it was pretty much like, hey, we want to help you. Here's this man who's a widow and he has 6 kids. You should go marry him. And she's like, I'd rather die than have 6 kids. And they're like, oh my god, you're so what is it? I can't think of the word. But like, oh my goodness, you talked like that, and out of like, you'll never go places if you act like that. And she's like kind of like Gone with the Wind, like frequently there, I don't give a damn. So yeah. And we also kind of a little bit know that she's traveling for something and she works with butterflies. So that's just as much as we got on this one. And then with the Part of Your World, let me put the dust jacket back on so that you guys can see it. So Part of Your World, in the first chapter we are introduced to Alexis. This is her chapter. Also found out this is dual POV, so each chapter is, I'm guessing, the 2 main characters. Alexis gets stranded on the side of the road trying not to hit a raccoon. She calls for a tow truck and he says, yeah, it'll be an hour. So she's pretty much stuck. She gets a phone call from her best friend, whose name is Bri. And a strange man comes up to her car to ask if she's okay. He has a cute little dog with him. And, you know, obviously, us being girls, we're very suspicious no matter who you are. So he pretty much helps her out, and she's talking to her friend Bri the whole time to make sure she doesn't get kidnapped. And something along the way, something along the line that also she just attended a funeral for her aunt, and there's a bit of family drama going on. And she has a twin brother who's not there, so she was kind of left alone to be eaten by wolves at this funeral with the relatives she doesn't get along with very well. So yeah, like I said, I think I heard a little bit of the first sentence from the next chapter, which is in Daniel's point of view. We didn't really get introduced to him the first chapter. Like, we don't even get his name until you get to the second chapter, which then says Daniel. Sorry, so it says Daniel. I was on the wrong chapter. And that's the only way that we know that that's his name. And something along the line of the first sentence of the next chapter said, I bet you can't take that girl. For $100, I bet you can't take the girl. And the girl was the woman, oh my goodness, I cannot talk. And the girl was Alexis, who he was helping out getting towed. So yeah, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I'm trying not to let the amount of pages deter me, but it kind of is. But I do have the audiobooks for both of them, so I mean, that would help. I have no idea. I really just didn't make things easy for me. Like I said, I'm leaning a little bit more towards Part of Your World, but I don't know. I have no idea, guys. I just really made this hard for myself. So that one's 372. Part of Your World is 372 pages. Curious Beginning is 335 pages. So there, I mean, that's only 20 pages more. It just looks thick, you know? Maybe looking a little thick. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do Part of Your World. We shall see if this helps, if this goes anywhere. I do want to read A Curious Beginning, so I don't know if I'll pick that one up. But then my wild head is thinking, oh, you should pick up The Inheritance Game, when like the 3 books on my TBR is already over here. I don't want to get too much into my November TBR. Sure, I do want to read this historical romance, which is called It Happened One Autumn. And we're still in autumn. I have 1 month to get this read, okay? And this is apparently a long book. It's almost 400 pages, okay? So I don't know what to do about this one. This is gonna be the hard one to read, but yeah. So far there's not a lot. I have the other 2 that are just like in case, kind of like fillers right now. But yeah, I don't know if I'll add The Inheritance Game to that or not. We shall see. But I digress. I will continue on with Part of Your World, and I will update you guys when I get to reading this. I don't know if I'll keep updating you guys as I read, or I will talk to you guys after I finish. And then I don't know if you guys want to see this one. So I don't know. I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this. Maybe I need to watch more videos on how people do the 1 chapter challenge, because I think they choose 1 book. So I'm guessing I'm only going to talk about this book in this video. But like I said, we shall see. I do things differently sometimes. It's just how things flow. Depending on how things flow is how we're going to do this video. So yeah, I will update you guys when I get into the book, I guess. I hope you guys can see me. I know there's a bright light behind me. I could go and, well, I guess I could. See me? Okay, you can see me a little bit. Okay. I just got I don't even know how many pages in I am. Maybe like 2 chapters in to A Part of Your World, and I'm already loving it. I did not expect this. I did not expect this to happen at all. This was such a cute so far. And like the last chapter that I just, oh my god, you can't even see me. The last chapter that I just finished reading was freaking hilarious and escalated really quickly. Nothing like, it was just pretty much like, I don't even know if I should give you guys spoilers, because I mean, it's not super spoilery, because I don't know what's going to happen. You cannot see me. Oh my goodness. Okay, I just had to deal with this, so that I could tell you guys. If this is too spoiler for you to explain what the 4th chapter ended with, then please skip this. I'll probably only talk for it for like a minute, but pretty much, she meets him at the bar, and Daniel's friends pretty much like, I bet you, like I said where I left off, where I bet you $100 you can't take her home. And pretty much that's like all we're thinking, because Daniel's like, okay, whatever, I'm not into that, I'm going home, I gotta feed my kid. But pretty much he goes and closes his tab, and he's pretty much giving Alexis a heads up, like, hey, those dumb butts over there, they're betting $100. I mean, they're betting that they can take you home. She's like, oh, really? And he's like really funny, and she's discovering that he's not only hot, but he's funny. And she's like, well, how much am I worth on this bet? And he's like, $100. And she's like, well, what if, and she's like, well, I'm leaving anyways. What if we just happen to go out the door at the same time? And they're pretty much like, okay, but we have to make this really convincing. So they're kind of talking, and the kid, who she thought was an actual child, thinking that he had a girlfriend or a baby mama, and pretty much it was a baby goat in pajamas, and it was super adorable. And pretty much they leave, they get their $100. And she's like, well, is there anywhere to eat around here? And he's like, no, but I could make you something at home. A grilled cheese with tomato and basil. And she's like, oh, really? Well, just a heads up, I don't do one night stands. And this isn't what this is. And he's like, okay. And then it's pretty much, Daniel says, I wake up the next morning feeling happy and naked. And she's gone. And I was laughing so freaking hard. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I can already tell you, this is really good. Like, honestly. Hello if you came back from skipping the spoiler that I had just finished reading. That was my last, I don't know if that'll be my last spoiler. I think I'm going to talk a lot about this book, maybe. I don't know. We shall see. I am currently on chapter 5 within 30 minutes or something like that. Super funny. I laughed my ass off within like the second two or the last 3 chapters, and I like that he goes back and forth between them, and I also like the audiobook. So yeah, that's been really good for me, and yeah, I'm enjoying this. I hope to continue to laugh my ass off. I know there are going to be some things that will happen when they potentially do get together. I know that I think her family isn't too supportive of them being together. Excuse me. But like I said, we shall see. I don't know what all is going to happen in this book, but I will update you. I don't know if I will do it soon because I'm having a blast reading this. I'm actually kind of happy that I picked this up because this is what I needed. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next clip. So as you can tell, it's still the same day. Apparently I have to charge my camera, so let me not forget that either. But there is a slight chance, just a slight chance, of me finishing Part of Your World. Okay, like I said in the beginning, I did not expect this to go so well, in all honesty, especially with it being long. And I kind of thought this was like, with how everybody was talking about it, it kind of seemed like they were already together type of thing, but they're not. And this is sort of like insta love, but like done right. Insta love, I don't mind, you know, but I think for a lot of people it's the feeling of it's not convincing, you know, like there's no connection between the two people to have that kind of what's the word, like the connection. But I think this book did such a good job because, mind you, in this timeline of like 150 pages in, I don't know how many chapters that is, 17 chapters in. So in this timeline, it's probably been like a month that they are seeing each other. And they're not even like officially together or anything. They're just hookups. Mind you, like, also, I'm not always a huge fan of like people being in a, not a one-night stand, but just being, you know, sexual buddies together, because I can't say F buddies. Well, I guess I could say F buddies. But I don't know, sometimes it's like, because all they're in it for is the sex. And that's the same here, but there's just so much chemistry between the two, first of all. And Daniel is such a freaking likable character. I don't even know how to describe him, because he's not like golden retriever. He just has like a lot of personality, and he's super funny, and like legit he would do anything for Alexia. I'm trying to remember her name. He would do anything for Alexia, and he wants to keep seeing her, and he doesn't care if it's still just a sexual relationship. He's like, I want to keep seeing her no matter what. And it's a first for him, and it's a first for her. And like I said, I really, really enjoy that. There is abuse in this book. Right now, we're kind of like, we haven't witnessed the abuse. So that's sort of nice. I don't know if it would be too intense to witness that. But it's interesting to hear it for the point of like verbal abuse, of the sense that her ex just like would bring her down and like gaslighted her so much, and that's crazy. And yeah, like she said, Alexia had pretty much described what it was and how it felt, like how she didn't really notice it, and didn't know it was even a form of abuse until talking with a therapist and realizing how much that made sense, and just like the little bit of like how it progressed to be like so big, like affect her so much, was pretty interesting to see as well. I don't know if this is spoilery. I apologize. But we're currently on where Alexia does not want anybody to know about their relationship, simply for the fact that she still doesn't see that they could even be together. She does not see that in the future for them, even though it's seemingly she's wanting to, and it seems like she is starting to fall for him. But I need to stop saying seems, but it's pretty much coming up for the fact that her family wouldn't be accepting of him, and they're, I mean, pretty much abusive in their own sort of thing. Like, the dad does not respect anybody not worthy of not even like his daughter's spouse or being with his daughter. It's like to be like seen with us kind of thing. Like, if you don't have the high enough title, you don't deserve to be in this family type of thing. And I'm thinking also her friends, are they even really her friends? That's a whole other thing. Yeah, so she's kind of thinking like all the negatives of other people knowing and not really, like, again, seeing a future together. I love Daniel so much. I think I've already said that. I think I mentioned that already, but I love him. He's so funny and so sweet. I wanted Daniel for myself. Like, girl, if you don't want him, I'll take him. Thank you very much. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I said I'm on 150 right now. I'm 30% in. It's pretty gripping. I mean, like, the first few chapters are pretty gripping, especially like knowing the drama that is in this book between like everything within Alexia's life. Literally, there's so much, especially some of the stuff that I hadn't mentioned that's currently happening. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, really good book so far in the 30% that I am. I think I was saying in the beginning that I may or may not finish this today. It's a possibility. I think I could get a lot of read today, but probably realistically I might finish this tomorrow. So yeah, not what I expected. I kind of expected to update you guys throughout the week. Not happening. This is like a in 1 or 2 days type of read, and I like those type of reads. So yeah, having a fun time with this one, and I will update you guys in the next clip. Hello everybody. Remember when I told you that I was going to finish Part of Your World like in the next day? Yeah, that didn't happen. I think it's probably, I think yesterday I said that, and that did not happen. No. I don't even remember. I can't even remember what I did yesterday. It's either been 1 or 2 days since the last time I had said that. Yeah, and it's currently nighttime, and I'm going to attempt to get some reading in tonight. But like, again, we shall see. This isn't exactly how I was planning things to go. Also, I look horrible. I also put a light, you can probably see it in my glasses, behind the camera. And so I don't really look as bad as I would usually during the nighttime, because my lighting in my room sucks. So I don't know. Feel about this light. I don't know if it's going to become a new thing. I don't know. But like I said, I'm going to try. My tummy's upset and I'm a little bit sleepy. So I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'm really trying to push myself right now because I need to get some reading. I was kind of surprised when I updated the reading on Goodreads, and it only said 30%. I was like, I swear it feels like it's 50%. I do think this is gonna feel like a long read because it kind of is already starting to feel like that. So yeah, currently 30%, or still 30%, because I think I told you guys I was that percent the last time I talked to you guys. So yeah, enough of me rambling, and let me try to read something. I wish I was recording this. I got a little bit into, like, a few chapters into the book, but there's a part where you come to find out that, you know, Alexis being raised in like a kind of dynasty sort of family, for their medical knowledge, medical degree, ancestrally, like throughout generations. So Alexis doesn't know a lot of like mundane stuff that you would usually learn. So we get to a scene where she's out of power and she can't make coffee, and and it's super funny between her and Daniel, and she's kind of feeling like defeated by how much she just doesn't know how to do. And Daniel's like, well, how many bones are in the body? And she's like instantly like, oh, well, 206. Which I think some people know that, you know, not everybody, but like some people know that there's 206 bones in your body. And then he asks her, well, what's your favorite bone? And she says it's the hyoid bone, because it's the only bone that is like a freestanding bone, a free floating bone is what she said. And so I was out here thinking, I was legit to myself thinking like, a floating bone? And I was like, is it in your feet? Because you have like a ton of bones in your feet and in your hands. And I was like, what's a free floating bone? I was like, your patella? It's like your knee. I was like, no, well, maybe. It was a hyoid. And I was like, why does hyoid sound so familiar? I was like, oh, it's the bone in your neck. And it's bad because for school I only remember the hyoid bone because if you crack that bone, you're dead. And they say that a lot in like the murder mystery shows. You know, the hyoid bone was broken or cracked, which means it was strangulation. The more you know, right? So yeah, I was like, huh. I wish I was just my brain when I was like, the hyoid bone. Like a light bulb. So sorry, I wish I recorded that. So I had to reenact it for you guys. So yeah, still really enjoying this. I just, you know, there's gonna be a conflict, and you're like, no, I don't want there to be a conflict. And she's still telling herself that she can't be with Daniel, and it's like, well, actually, in fact, you are a grown woman and you actually can be with this man. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah. Hello everybody, it is the next day that I updated you guys. I think I said it was 30% or something last night. I ended up getting into 50% with however much I read last night. And then I guess I read another 10% this morning. You guys, this book is so good. Like, I know that I'm 25, so I can't really relate a lot. I can't relate with a lot of the stuff that Alexis talks about. I know she's in her 30s.
Welcome to the Alexa Prize.
Anyways, like I was saying, I get some things because I have a sister who's around that age. So I understand some things, but there's just so much that it's just like, why is it so hard for her to like separate herself from her family when literally all they do is gaslight her? And it's the same thing as her ex, Neil, gaslighting her. I mean, that's pretty much what her parents are doing. And her friend Bri did make a valid point that, you know, her family's just as abusive, which is how she was able to tolerate Neil for so long. And I'm like, you're very valid on that. So I think it's just frustrating because us, the readers, know, like, leave them, you know, F them type of thing. Like, they're not worth it if they're not going to give you anything back, if they're not going to receive your feelings and so forth. And I think the same thing with mom. I know that she feels the daughter, her, because I can't say her name. I know that she feels, or she finally connected like, oh, you felt the same way I did when I was in a relationship with Neil. Like, you have that kind of abuse going on. And I just think that even after all this time, if she, the mom, was still not going to be on her side, just like, I mean, you have no other thing to do other than be happy for yourself if they're not going to be happy for you. So I just feel like, obviously us, we would think another way, but she has had this abuse all her life pretty much. I know it sounds like I'm rambling, I apologize. That's just my thoughts from reading it so far, since I got to the 60%. But I'm loving, like, you kind of get a reason for why they can't be together. But Daniel's so, like, in love with her, and I don't think she really sees that, but she's also having to grip with, they can't really be together if that's how her parents are going to be, which is, like I said, as the parents, but you know, she's different. So yeah, that's what we're having to do. I also had to share with you because I was laughing my ass off this morning. The up to 50% that I got to last night was really good. I really enjoyed it. We got to see her deliver a baby and be treated like a normal human, like a normal spouse, I guess to say, like partner, because Daniel doesn't like gaslight her and is a normal person pretty much. I do hate when she's talking about him, she compares him to Neil. And I know that, like, that's all she has to compare, because I think Neil was like her first boyfriend or something like that. It's just like, okay, we know they're totally different. You don't have to like compare them every single time. But anyways, like I was saying, this morning I was cracking my ass off because I'm trying to figure out what chapter it is. Chapter 25, which is a Daniel chapter, was freaking hilarious. I won't tell you anything because I also can't tell you, because I probably YouTube probably wouldn't let me say anything. But it was hilarious. So I just think that this is, like, I don't know. I don't think if I was a teenager I would read this. But, like, you know, adult, new adult, I think this is, like, for those type of people. It's just such, like, it feels so real. And like I said in the beginning when I was talking about this book, they've only been together for, like, a month or two. 2 months, maybe, at max. And they're falling so hard. But it does it so well. So, like, if you're not an insta-love type of person, like, give this a try, because like I said, it does it so well. It feels like they've been together forever and they just make each other happy so much. But there's also that tension of, like, we can't really be together. But Daniel, I feel like he's gonna do anything he can to be like, stay with me. But then I also don't know, because I don't know, she's kind of already picked how she's going about this decision without talking to him about any of the things going on with her. Which I think is really unfair, especially if you're already in a kind of this relationship with another person. You can't just leave him hanging like that. And he would be so devastated. Anyway, so yeah, the conflict's coming, and I really don't want it to happen. I just want Daniel to be happy, is all I want to say. I need him to be happy. So yeah, I'm 61% in currently. Let's see, I have about, like, this much left. If I can get it. This much left right here. So yeah, I will update you guys with how much further I get into this book. I'm just gonna start accepting how bad I'm gonna look in videos. It doesn't get better than this. Hello guys, I am back for an update. I can't remember what was the last time I updated. I didn't read last night. I had a really bad migraine, but I did end up finishing Part of Your World, like, just right now. It's still morning on Friday, so I think it's been like a week that I read this, which isn't too bad. Maybe, yeah, like almost a week, maybe 5 days. I don't know, something like that. So I ended up giving this book 4 stars. Let me just say that this book was absolutely hilarious. Like, so freaking funny. There was, like, a ton of stuff that happened that I was just laughing my ass off the whole entire time. Also, Daniel being like the most amazing freaking person in the world, and I want Daniel for myself, if I'm being honest. So I think in my lifetime of reading, he would be my second, oh my hair, my second book boyfriend. I need him in my life. So yeah, I think I had mentioned that the conflict was coming. So conflict happens towards the end, and I saw it coming. I think anybody, if you're reading this, you would see the conflict coming at the end. How do I say? I don't know, just a lot of, I'm trying to think how I would word this. So I also mentioned a lot while talking about this book that we were seeing things that Alexis couldn't see. You know, we knew what was up. She did not. It took her a really long time to finally figure out what 1 + 1 was. That her parents are assholes, pretty much. And it really took Bri to be like, you know, you can leave, right? Like, you can go. And then Alexis had this whole epiphany, like, oh, yeah, I'm finally realizing these things. And you're like, girl, really? It took you this long? So, yeah, that happened. And she finally realizes that she needs to be with Daniel. And, you know, I'm not going to get too into it because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. There's more to it. But pretty much, I don't think Alexis deserved Daniel coming back as easily as he did. I think she should have groveled. I legit thought, as it was going about of how she was going to try to get Daniel back, I didn't think that was a really good idea. I was like, really, this is your idea to get him back? Like, this is going to make a difference? No. You literally broke his heart. You need to grovel. And she didn't do that. And I was so upset that that didn't happen. She needed to grovel. It was her turn. She did not deserve what happened. So yeah, that happens, and then they have an epilogue for you to know, you know, what happened afterwards, which was cute. It was whatever. I was just still mad that she didn't grovel. So yeah, that's pretty much my opinion on this book. Like, the first half of it, super funny, super hilarious, until it wasn't as great anymore, unfortunately. I think that this book could have been shorter, is another thing that I would say. They started skimming through a lot of the book because some of it was just unnecessary things that they were adding, and I'm like, I don't care. So yeah, I would say that's another negative on it. But I gave 4 stars. But I gave 4 stars to it because, like I said, I was laughing my ass off, and I have to give it to them. I have to give it to Abby that it was pretty hilarious, and that I also absolutely love Daniel. He's what made it for me. Also, the side characters, Doug. Why doesn't anybody love Doug? Okay, you know, he serenades you. Like, you know, what's up with everybody? I would love to get a Doug romance in there, or a Liz and Brian one too. That would be really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my reading vlog of this, I guess. I also have to mention that I was explaining the plot and all like the funny bits that was in here to my mom, and she was absolutely loving it. And as I was reading this, she came in to my room and was like, hey, did they end up getting back together? And I was like, I don't know, Mom, I'm still reading. You know, I still haven't found out yet. So Mom enjoyed it with my summarization of the book. So that's pretty much it for this. I'm going to go ahead and end out this vlog. I don't know how long this vlog would even be, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I actually would really recommend the 1 chapter challenge because, like, in this book, the first chapter was super gripping and made me want to continue reading it. The book A Curious Beginning wasn't too bad. It just didn't grip me off from the start, and I think I'm going to skip that one and go for a different read. I might also try to do the 1 chapter challenge for that one, just to see which one I get into. So yeah, if you guys are like, I don't really have a TBR, or you do have a TBR and you don't know which one you want to start first, I recommend doing that. Like, it was a really smart idea, and it got me super hooked into this book. And like I said, I finished reading it in almost a week. So that was great on me. I'll stop talking now and really actually close out this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, leave a comment down below if you guys want to pick this book up, or if you guys read this book. Please let me know your opinions as well. Did you disagree with my opinions? Did you agree with my opinions? You know, let me know. So yeah, that's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next vlog.